And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
Where it all began when TNA was reborn. We go back to the Palms in Las Vegas to see if the system can actually be taken down, and has the wanted man truly ascended for what Dolph Ziggler was once known as, and will TNA be ruled by Nick Nemeth? Are we going to find limits in the X division? Will the Knockouts tag titles fall to decay? Who truly is the OG king of TNA? Who will be the last man standing? Do you believe in Joe Hendry? And can the juggernaut be stopped by Steph DeLander? This and so much more as we come together to simply predict TNA's latest pay-per-view. And this is Rebellion. Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to Simply Predicting TNA Style, as we come to you with our thoughts, takeaways, preview predictions to TNA Rebellion. You know what this is, for I am the simple man of the simple brand and the voice of JMF for great professional wrestling. Damn it! And my name is Noah Foster. And welcome once again to Simply Predicting, the platform where we come together, me and my friends, to predict all the wrestling, all the professional wrestling. Damn it! And I truly can call it that now across the board. Shout out to those that are in the chat. Thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe, comment, tell a friend. If you want to dictate the conversation, join the dictate at Castain Studio. Support my friend. I'm not monetized. I'm just here to spread the love and encouragement and positive reinforcement. But Super Chat at Castain Studios is as simple as that. Darren G, good to see you in the chat. And if you all want to be part of the fun as well, of course, I host predictions leagues for all the brands. You will find the forum also as well in the chat. And, of course, the leaderboard. Ashley right now is leading, while Josh E. Dwayne Atkinson and Rob Gregg are shortly behind. And JJ, you're in the middle of the prep, and you're doing fairly well. But that being said, before we get into things, good to see you once again, my friend. Here's the first of our double hitter weekend. And I know we'll talk more about that later when it comes to what I created, when it comes to everything we're going to cover. But that being said, how you feeling? How you feeling about TNA Rebellion?
You know what? I'm actually looking forward to this show. For the first time, I think in a long time, I feel like I'm really invested in TNA and the storylines and everything moving forward here. And despite the fact that tonight on Impact was more than likely the final performance of the Motor City Machine Guns in the company they've called home for over 20 years.
Right.
I'm looking forward to seeing what this era of TNA is going to bring to us when they come back to the place where it was reborn just a few months ago.
Yep. The same exact building, the Palms in Las Vegas. And we got, of course, 9 matches here total. We got 7 on the main and 2 on the countdown. Of course, folks, you know what we're going to do at the WWE Motivation Media. We are going to live watch along, commentary at, and cover this. Me, and you never know who's in the other seat. Is it JJ? Is it James? Is it Attila? Is it Jeff? Is it Walter, who might one day come part of the TNA fun? You never know. You just got to tune in. And, of course, we will be going live 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Saturday night, across all platforms here at the Multiverse of Mia. But that being said, JJ, I agree with you. It's really interesting when you think about when TNA first came back to life through Scott D'Amore, through that opening call with Eric Young. And now we're back here at this point where you don't have Scott D'Amore, you do have Eric Young in a marquee match along with another TNA OG, and you do wonder right now if the system is still going to define the landscape, or will someone else show the world exactly what it means to be TNA? And is it truly the alternative once again? But I think with that being said, enough bit of a spiel and pre-hype. So without further ado, JJ, gentlemen, ladies who watch this on demand, or if you're just, lurking in the chat too, let's get on into it. So again, we have 2 matches on the countdown. The countdown will be available for free to everybody, of course. Countdown to Ribbon on all TNA Plus social media platforms. That's YouTube and TNA Plus. And of course, if you want to follow the action along with us, you can purchase the pay-per-view via becoming a TNA Plus member and ordering it separately unless you do the subscription that involves all the pay-per-views. Or you can check it out on Trilla TV. You might remember that as Fight TV. And your local pay-per-view provider. So that being said, we're going to start with the countdown where everybody can follow us for free. And they gave us 2 countdown matches. Let's go ahead and start with this. Where is it as easy as 1, 2, 3? You tell me. As we have the former TNA World Tag Team Champions, the ABC. I'm, of course, talking about the notable Ace Austin and the Art of Finesse himself, Chris Bay, alongside one of the latest signings, of course, to TNA. Got signed last year during the UK tour, Leon Slater. They take on the Rascals in full force, this time with Myron Reed in tow. Of course, talking about Trey Miguel, Zachary Wentz, and now Myron Reed. Myron Reed now evening up the sides here, and honestly, the Rascals might be more dangerous than ever. Of course, the Rascals, maybe had that feud over the TNA World Tag Team Championships going all the way into Bound for Glory, where the ABC got them back after the Rascals stole them. But the bigger thing here right now is everything fine within the ABC. Are they still about the team, or are there singles agendas right now that might be looming? So, JJ, with that being said, what's your thoughts on this 6-man tag? I mean, Leon Slater kind of like is, truth be told, and we'll talk about the actual title itself, the X factor here. To my knowledge, he never really has coexisted with the ABC, nor do I think he's faced either one of these men one-on-one yet in a TNA ring. So it's a coming out, I feel, for Leon Slater, where people might have seen Myron Reed, botch, I'm tired, 200 or 300 times during an actual match in TNA. So what's your take on this 6-man tag?
Yeah, I'm not really familiar with either of the other 2 men here outside of our established tag teams.
Mm-hmm.
But the last time I saw ABC on my screen, they were in a losing effort. They seemed to have a little bit of dissension between them. And I'm wondering if there's not going to be further rifts here. It looks like they may be getting ready to pursue singles gold. So as much as I'm not a big fan of the team, I got to go with the Rascal side of things here.
Well, as the voice of the jam, as you all christened me spectacularly, I humble, but I also am unbiased. But I will say this: I'm from right here in Toledo, Ohio, represent the 419. To those that don't know, Myron Reed has tattled on side and versus Trey Miguel countless occasions. These two go all the way back, to my knowledge at least, 2018, when I first saw Myron Reed and Trey Miguel face Char one-on-one in Chaos Wrestling here in my city. They've also been tag team champions of a promotion in the bi-state area, ran by Rhino up in Michigan, called Insane Wrestling Revolution. Fun little venue. Always packed. You always find a door used. Go figure. And they are former tag team champions there. So there is a lot of cohesion, particularly with Myron Reed and Trey Miguel. Of course, Trey Miguel not only leads by example, he literally teaches professional wrestling. And I think Myron Reed's probably been to one of his classes. So I think right now with the Rascals being a united front, and I do think Myron Reed might be here for a longer haul, I think I got to go with you here just out of the sum of the parts versus the parts of the sum. I don't know if ABC and Leon Slater can get that cohesion in their first trios showcasing. And I think that's going to play in the Rascals' favor. I got to go with the Rascals, too. And I do think it's going to lead to more of Ace Austin and Chris Bay going back after singles gold exhibitions. Let's not forget, Chris Bay and Ace Austin are both previously X Division champions. And Ace Austin and Chris Bay have both had chances previously for the Impact World Championship. If you're not here to be the world champion eventually, what are you doing? So, yeah, I think it's the Rascals' time that are going to smoke it if you got them and basically put down the ABC and company, at least here in this countdown showcasing. All right. Well, speaking of tag teams, cohesion, countdown showcasing, we go from the men to the women, and the leading division on the Western Front still for me, but NXT is getting super close up there as well as Ring of Honor. Let's go ahead and talk about the TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Championships. As Spitfire, of course, the Wild Child, Jody Fret, and of course, Subculture, Danny Luna. They defend the gold against Decay, who of course cashed in their rematch clause. But this time, there's no surprise factor, but momentum favors the challengers after, as we record this 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time live, of course. I want to say that coming off the Go Home episode of TNA Impact. It was Rosemary that got the better of the Wild Child, Jody Fret. But I also have to put this into play as well. Ever since the fallout with MK Ultra, the System's Alicia Edwards has been seeking Masha Slamovich to see that maybe they could work together, and finally, maybe they together can become tag team champions. And for Alicia's case, maybe she could finally become a champion in TNA. This right here, though, is the first match, and you know as well as I do, JD, this is TNA where they could surprise us just like that, especially when it comes to this. This is one of those matches where I really don't know for sure if I don't see a title change happening again, because again, Jody Fret suffered the blunt of MK Ultra's violence, and a schoolgirl allowed Spitfire in their debut to get the win. And Decay are now 3 times, to my knowledge, I believe, or 4 times, depending if you look at the group versus the actual 2 people here, former TNA Knockout Tag Team Champions. But I do think right now with that sub-story I'm starting to see, where Alicia Edwards might throw her name into the hat alongside Masha Slamovich, and Masha has no love lost, particularly to either member of Spitfire, I think Spitfire will retain. But what's your take on this?
I completely agree here. You talk about how there's no surprises for this match, but there is an X Factor they announced tonight. Let us not forget Lars Fredrickson of Rancid will be in Spitfire's corner.
Yep.
And with Rosemary having gotten the victory here tonight, I kind of feel like that leads me to believe, history shows us that whoever has the momentum going in the pay-per-view traditionally loses at the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So I think the combination of the fact that Rosemary won tonight, plus Spitfire is going to have Lars Fredrickson in their corner, going to lead to a Spitfire retention. I feel the Knockouts tag titles have been hot potatoed a little bit too much these last few months.
You mean since TNA's existed?
Yeah, pretty much. So I feel like we need to have a little bit of stability here and maybe not have the titles change hands until Slammiversary in July.
Date and venue and logo yet to be determined, but this is Rebellion. I would not be surprised if they announce it. Of course, part of our wrestling pay-per-view schedule 2024. That's a show we still don't know when it's actually going to happen, folks.
Jesus Cristo. Why you do that to me, Noah?
All the wrestling. We must know all the wrestling, JJ. We must prepare for the inevitable and the doubleheader weekends that are ahead. By the way, folks, take this in, man. I'm just going to put this up here for a moment now. I'm going to ask the chat. How are you feeling about professional wrestling in 2024? Just right. We are going to die.
Breathe it in.
Yeah. We're going to die.
Well, we don't have an official date or city announced, but you can pretty much figure that Survivor Series will be the 30th because it's always the weekend after Thanksgiving.
Exactly.
And if Full Gear is the 23rd, that would make that Saturday the 30th.
Yeah, and how many times do we see TNA, WWE, AEW juggle off each other within the same weekend or back-to-back weekends? Case in point, that schedule, we got doubleheader this week of a weekend with Saturday being TNA and Sunday being AEW. All the professional wrestling. Not enough days. Who am I kidding? Not enough weekends for it all. And then you got New Japan Pro Wrestling. But anyway. But yeah, and again, to the Knockouts Tag Team Championship history in this era of TNA, it started with MK Ultra, then Decay got them, then MK Ultra got them back, then Decay basically did some voodoo curse, Papa Shingo nonsense, where they were in New Orleans, channeled some dark magic, And maybe that's what cost MK Ultra against the newest team, Spitfire. Decay never got the Contract the Alligator one-on-one rematch, and here we are. Almost feels like right here, close circle with Decay and their current intentions on pursuing the TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Championships, and you bring a new team into play out of some subtle storytelling and pent-up animosity, where Masha right now looks to take the damn head off Danny Luna and Jody Fred, for being perfectly honest with you. Alicia Edwards has been part of TNA, if whatever the hell you want to call it, since 2017, never held a championship. So I think it kind of speaks for itself that I think it makes more sense for Spitfire to be the adversaries to pursue for the gold versus Decay. Yeah, Darren, that's a nice word to say for this one more time, folks. Yeah. All the wrestling. All the professional wrestling. Yeah. All right, but back to TNA.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, I made separate graphics, by the way, for TNA and WWE, but I'll show those off tomorrow. All right, so let's go ahead into the main card, and I trust that we are definitely going to see something special out of this, because it is the one true defining factor that has defined these letters for the last 20 plus years, no matter what inception. But look, I know politics love to, be propaganda machines, rewrite history, shape things in their own way. But dude, you cannot put the word no limits not together when it comes to this division and this championship. And you're about to see that the hard way. Friggin' politics, always trying to play both sides. This is why I'm an individual. I don't play either side or a party. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about the X Division Championship, shall we? Because this is truly going to be something. As Jake something will go once again after the X Division Championship against everybody's favorite candidate, Mustafa Ali. For in Ali, we trust. Now, Mustafa Ali, of course, came in and took the towel off Chris Sabin, successfully retained it in a rematch where Chris Sabin's own emotions got the best of him and caused him his chance to become an 11-time TNA X Division champion. Take something, however, thanks to Mustafa Ali's six-pack emancipation, I think, Seb, I forget the name. I don't know political terms. Sorry, not sorry. He was able to outlast the field and earn this opportunity, but too much of the fear of Mustafa Ali, he's like, this guy right here does not represent the X Division. The X Division should have limits. He's not a cruiserweight. It's friggin'. Do I need to remind you about Abyss? Do I need to remind you about the likes of Samoa Joe? Do I need to remind you the likes of Josh Alexander? I'm just saying. But anyway, Jake Summit, of course, not his first chance going after this title, but I do think since coming back last year, some anniversary, he is due for something, JJ. And of course, Mustafa Ali is also coming off a great victory against Roma Takahashi last week at Windy City Riot, Friday in New Japan Pro Wrestling in Chicago. There was something I took very candid from Mustafa Ali. Is there somebody who could finally make me doubt myself? Because I still don't feel like I've reached that point where I don't believe in myself. I don't believe that I'm absolutely the best that I've been. I've been red hot now for the last whatever month since I've left friggin' WWE. So, again, this global campaign continues to follow Mustafa Ali, who holds 2 championships. The X Division Championship, truly defined by no limits. I do wonder, though, if something has something that Mustafa Ali can't handle, and can he finally win the X Division Championship? So what's your take on this match, JJ? Do you believe in something to change, or do you still, once again, go with that model in Ali we trust?
Well, look, nothing is going to stop in Ali I trust.
Accurate.
Especially ever since he started gritting his teeth with those grizzled young vets.
Yes, and I love it.
But Jake something has been on fire here lately. And I'm slowly getting more and more impressed by him every single week. When I first started watching, I was like, whatever. Jake something, you're a nothing. That's what you are. You're not even a something. You're a nothing. But, man, these last few weeks, I got to go with Jake something. I think it's his time. I
Wow.
really do. I think it's his time.
So,
Ali's had a nice little 3-month run, and I'm not usually in favor of short title changes like that, but I don't see something holding it for terribly long. I think we may have a nice little rivalry here, a la a Daniels Joe, a Styles Joe type of rivalry, where we may see this title bouncing forth throughout the whole year. But I think it's Jake something's moment right now.
that is very bold. And that is something you truly have foretold. But the thing I think about here is Mustafa Ali just came across the TNA scene, and he's the first guy to grace the cover of PWI since 2005. He's the first guy to, of course, main event for the X Division Championship alongside Chris Sabin. Lights we have not seen the likes of in, again, a number of years. Mustafa Ali has kind of redefined once again how important the X division is because of his career. Again, 21 years in the business, just saying, former WWE superstar too. But that being said, before I give my take, well, I thought I saw something. It must have just been thin air. And I'm not talking about rarefied air by elegance. Anyway.
Don't get me started on Dimeless Dana Brooke.
But I think Ali's going to retain right now because, to your point, he's only had one defense against Chris Sabin. And I think Jake's something right now. There might be something different for him. And based on what I saw tonight, here's something that y'all might know. Cody Deaner, the former Deaner that was the leader of the design, part of Violent by Design. Cody Deaner and Jake Something are cousins. They originally came into Impact Wrestling in the previous era as a tag team. They're the Deaners. They're literally a tag team originally before they went their separate ways. And Jake Something found his name. Something! But after the Grizzled Young Veterans and Mustafa Ali have shared a common enemy, I think you might actually get a tag feud versus Jake Something as X Division champion. And I also think that the Grizzled Young Veterans will be in Ali's support system. I won't say corner because I don't think they're, put on in his cabinet like his special security detail. But I think that some way Jake Something's going to surprise us with something, but I don't think he leads to the championship. It's going to be a mighty effort. Speaking of mighty, morphing in finally my fellow friend in TNA, and she will be there live taking it all in. Datilla, it's wrestling time. Datilla, great to see you. Welcome to Simply Predicting. How are you?
I'm tired, but otherwise I'm fine. Sorry, I'm really late.
You're fine.
You're tired. It's 11:30 for him.
I need to go down here because I'm not West Coast. This is more better. But hey, what's sleep? You know me. I'm crazy. Maybe I'm crazier than Nick Nemeth. Who knows? But you haven't missed much. And for those that don't know, please follow Datilla at Raiders of Wrestling. Follow her continued work, reviews, and coverage alongside Body Slam with her friends. Of course, shout out to Bert. I remember, of course, meeting him in Nashville when I went to Slammiversary 2021. Shout out to the TNA gang, the TNA AIW family. And again, please follow our content whenever it's wrestling time or if you're a fan of Power Rangers. And also have a great time at Comic-Con. But that being said, Attila, we're talking about the SVG Championship. You're actually great timing here. We only talked about the 2 matches on the countdown. So here we're at the main card. And I figured I'd kick things off with the main card with the title that defines the letters TNA being the alternative. The SVG Championship. And what's even more fun? You're the rubber. It's 1 for Jake Something. It's 1 for Mustafa Ali. So where do you stand with the X Division Championship? Do you see Something finally winning his first title? Or in Ali, you still trust being the face of the X Division?
I didn't know you met Bert.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
She's still caught off guard by that.
Yeah.
And Gerald. Hi, Gerald.
Okay, you know a lot of people.
I try.
Huh?
I try.
Okay. I trust Denali, but I like Jake Something. I think Jake Something's had an incredible showing since he came back. Apparently Mustafa Ali's gonna be with TNA up until June. But I'm gonna stick to my original pick. I'm gonna pick Jake Something, and I'm actually meeting both Jake Something and Mustafa Ali.
There you go. She's going to be part of the autograph fest during Rebellion and the TNA tapings. Of course, TNA brought that back. Have a great time. All right. So, wow, I'm the odd one out. I actually believe the champ's going to retain. Here, I thought, though, with the fact that Cody Dieter's title alongside his little brother, I thought that we might get a few grizzled young veterans and Cody Dieter alongside Jake Something. But now that I think about it, the People's Choice might have Cody Dieter help Jake Something win the title. But I'm going to stand to my commitment and say right now that Mustafa Ali is retaining. I think it's still too soon. If nothing else, I think it'd be a full circle moment when he came back at Slammiversary to get the title at Slammiversary. I just don't think Jake Something gets it done here at Rebellion. Not yet. So that's my take. All right. Good stuff. Well, since JJ led a match and I led a match, Tattila, you can lead this one off because who truly is the king of TNA in their own mind? And what sort of virus will Eric Young unleash to remind Kazarian exactly who the hell he is? He in quotations. We're about to go violent. Full Metal Mayhem, the most dangerous match, honestly, in TNA history. And there's a reason for that, considering people who's previously participated in it. It's Eric Young versus Frank Kazarian after Frank Kazarian turned his back on Eric Young and basically called himself the self-proclaimed king of TNA, basically saying that TNA's back because of me. You all should thank me, but I'm going to give you every reason to hate me. He gave us more reason to hate him when he cost Eric Young, who beat him one-on-one, by the way, for the TNA World Championship against Moose at Sacrifice. And Eric Young now is looking to finally settle this score once for all in the most violent way possible in TNA. Full Metal Mayhem. So, Tattila, both men clearly have golden aspirations. One man's been to the dance. One man's finally looking to get back to that dance and maybe in his secondary chance, finally become champion. Do we get to one of those roads out of this match? Does this finally end? Does this continue to escalate into something even crazier? Where do you stand in Full Metal Mayhem? Who survives versus who wins?
Well, considering Eric Young won their first bout, I think this match should go to Frankie Kazarian. You know, he's the true he claims to be the one true king of TNA. And if he's eventually going to challenge for the world title, which I do think he is, he definitely needs to beat Eric Young here.
There you go. Now, again, I'm unbiased. I'm the voice of the JMN, but I know people, like you said, that have, I would say, friendships, longer history, connections, a bit more to offer in conversation when it comes to certain individuals. Hi, JJ. So,
Hi.
Frank Kazarian, that's y'all's boy. So what's your thoughts on this Full Metal Mayhem match at this point?
You know, I was all set to side with my boy Frankie until I saw Eric Young talking to Casey Jones backstage.
If you know,
Tell
you
me
know.
I'm wrong.
He's not wrong.
He's not.
I'm just saying. I saw that mask. I was like, why the hell is he wearing a Casey Jones mask?
Hockey.
But
Anyway.
I feel like EY is going to go somewhere that he didn't really want to go. And as a result, he's going to unleash something that Kazarian probably wasn't ready for.
Mm-hmm.
Question is once he goes there, will he continue to reside there? Or will he be able to come back?
I like Noah's face.
You know, I know you don't watch movies that much, but it's kind of like what Hulk said, and I want to say it was Thor Ragnarok, where he mentioned, I've been the Hulk so long, I don't know if I can turn back into Banner.
I think I remember a clip like that from Age of Ultron when everybody was fearing themselves. Well, when I was once a wee lad, I did see that movie, so I kind of understand in context what he's talking about. Anyway, continue.
So it's like, if he goes back to that place, will he be able to come back to being normal EY?
Fair.
No.
It's fair. So you think that EY is going to go to a place and maybe a point of no return where he might win here, but ultimately lose himself in the process?
Mm-hmm.
It's a fair take. I look at it like this. When it comes to matches that go to this level of violent, dangerous, end game, just saying, I mean, I look at Kenny King versus People in My Building and what was a pit fight, and he literally KO'd the man that ended that feud. I think about, the Killer Kowalski initiative, whatever they called it, where it was the Killer Impact match, 2 out of 3 falls, and in the third fall, Kazarian got over Eddie Edwards. I look at this, and it's like, okay, they faced her one-on-one. Eric Young got the win, and Kazarian hasn't been able to live it down. This technically is their second one-on-one encounter. It's just extreme circumstances. And when you can't control yourself, that might be the vulnerability your opponent needs to exploit. To Darren's point, I think Kazarian does have something up his sleeve, because if Kazarian's going to consider himself as a future challenger versus being self-named king of TNA without the crown, then I think he needs to beat a former TNA world champion. I think Kazarian gets it here because he already lost previously at a different TNA PLE, as you remember, no surrender. So I think Kazarian actually gets it done here. So I think it has to go to him. And then people have a reason to hate him even more. I'm going with Kazarian.
You have permission to hate him.
Well, thou shalt not hate. That's what I live by. That's, I believe in a certain, degree of moral code, unlike some people. But that's a whole different conversation. But yeah, so Eric, Kazarian. And Darren thinks Kazarian has something up his sleeve, and wouldn't surprise me. So Kazarian for the win here. Only because I think right now Kazarian is going to continue this MO of he's the king of TNA. You need to have conquered wars to own that moniker, bro. All right. Well, yes.
If I may, I am going to shoot you an image. Breaking, there's a new match that has been added to the countdown.
Okay. Well then, I'll go ahead and...
So it hasn't been meachamized, obviously, but...
Wow.
I don't know if we want to keep running through this, and then we can do this one at the end.
Yeah, I have no problem doing that. I'm just opening up another tab. My internet should be able to hold up to that, I believe. But also, hey, everybody. Hey, Patilla. Hey, JJ. Do you believe?
I believe.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Henry. I don't believe in DJ Dazzy knockoff. Anyway, it's Joe Henry versus Rich Swann with AJ Francis.
You were going to call him Uncle Phil?
I don't give a fuck what anyone says. That was beyond brilliant. All right.
Okay.
Sorry. Not sorry. Anyway, all right. I'll be serious here. It's Joe Henry versus Rich Swann one-on-one with AJ Francis. So this really escalated ever since AJ Francis came in from the outside and crossed the line into TNA at Hard to Kill. And Joe Henry offered him cheeses after reminding him his greatest accolade, cheeses champion. And ever since then, this angry giant basically has planted Joe Henry since. Reluctantly, Rich Swann kind of did not want to go along AJ Francis here. But you look at Rich Swann's latest run of wins and losses, besides the tag win with Joe Henry, even though he turned on him a week later, freaking traitor. What the hell has Rich Swann done lately, let alone actually accomplished so far in this era of TNA? Now, we know where Joe Henry stands, and of course, I don't have to say anything else. You already know what I believe in, but I am unbiased. I promise I'm going to be unbiased, even during our call. But I can't say what I'm going to be at the end of it if that big, giant doofus gets involved and flops over the top rope. So, that being said, you're going to be there live and you're going to meet the man. So, again, I'm not putting you on the spot, but go ahead and give your thoughts towards this match. And who do you have winning?
First of all, I'm really excited I get to meet Joe Henry. I'm going to tell him, I said your name and you appeared. And I'm going to show him the video that Jeff got. So let's see what he says about that.
All right.
All right. In all seriousness, I like Joe Henry. You know what? And JJ knows that I believe in 252 pounds of pure motivation, the answer to all our life's problems. You know that.
Yeah, of course.
But as much as I like Joe Henry, I honestly feel like this is Rich Swann's match. With AJ Francis at ringside, this is his first match under first class. I just don't see Rich Swann losing this one, So I'm gonna jump off of economy and jump onto first class for the first time ever in my life because I always fly economy, and I'm gonna pick a Rich Swann for this one.
First off, before I give it to JJ, thank you to Josh Mansfield for the $2 super chat. I believe in NOLA. Appreciate you. Not Joe Hendry. Blasphemy! Love you, 3 cats. Well, we appreciate you always. So thank you.
I gotta find my NOLA keychain.
There you go. They freaking send me one via Express. All right, now look again. I'm the unbiased guy, so I'm just the one. I'm the simple moderator that encourages the fun and all the takes here. So we got one for Rich Swann, and in context, JJ, she does bring up a point. Again, if Rich Swann's going to actually try and define himself in TNA under this new heelish persona where he believes he's first class above all the rest, as they say, if you're not first class, you're last class. He kind of does need the win here. We also know right now it is a numbers game. There is nobody in Joe Hendry's corner, even if he is the people's choice. So that being said, JJ, what's your take on this singles grudge bout?
I prefer Ritz crackers.
Yeah, I'm a Ritz Bits guy, for real. Cheese Ritz Bits for life.
In all seriousness, though.
Yeah, in all seriousness.
I don't like Ritz.
If I could be serious for a moment.
I'm going to try to be serious with Joe Hendry match. Okay.
First of all, thank you, Josh, for the $2 super chat.
And yes, Attila, you are. All right, JJ, go ahead.
I have said this before. I will say it again. I am getting closer and closer with every week to actually believing in Joe Hendry.
Yes!
Yay!
He gets funnier and funnier and more entertaining with each passing week. I am almost at the point where I cannot deny him anymore. But to your guys' point, Rich Swann does need this victory.
Exactly.
Or does Joe Hendry actually get the victory here and show that by aligning himself with AJ Francis, that AJ Francis really isn't doing anything to help his career? Okay, great. You've aligned and formed this new team, and you still can't win. I was all set to pick Joe Hendry, but I think you guys have actually swayed me to picking Rich Swann here.
Yeah.
As sad as it is, I was actually looking forward to shocking the world, and especially you two, by picking Joe Hendry.
Right?
But then you guys convinced me to go with Rich Swann, so.
You can always stick with your first gut. Sometimes your gut isn't wrong.
True, but
and I've got until 3:30 Pacific, 6:30 Eastern to make a final decision.
That is correct, as everybody does. For I will make it official. Come 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Saturday night. Your predictions are final. I need to update the time in the description on the forum, though. Now that I realize that's like Control-C, Control-V from the last one. But
so
yes.
If you talk to Joe Hendry on Saturday afternoon and can report back something that makes me change my mind, makes me want to believe in 252 pounds of pure motivation.
Pure motivation.
Then I will make my change.
That's probably not going to happen.
Gotta stick with Rich Swann.
I was going to say that's not going to happen because the Autograph Fest is actually after the show. So
gotcha.
Right.
I feel like that's that's a boner move there. I think it should be beforehand. You figure all the talent's going to be so tired afterwards.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
they do a balance though of some of the roster before and some of the roster after, and also there's always that party, I guess, that the roster does post show. So I mean, and plus they're also doing more autograph fests, I believe, during the TNA Impact tapings as well at the
Yes.
Palms. So
They're doing it. They're doing it right after the show, but unfortunately, I can't do the Sunday ones because my flight leaves at 9:40, so I have to bounce immediately after the tapings.
that's fair for passions.
It sucks because Josh Alexander and the Rascals and Steve Macklin are on Sunday, and I really wanted to meet them.
And PCO.
He's not human. Oh Lord!
But I'm happy with the ones that I got for Saturday.
Yeah, and again, hopefully your wallet can recover from all that.
Trust me, it's hurting already.
I bet. Well, again, I'll be lucky if I go to SummerSlam this year with what I'm dealing with. Lord be with me. Thank you, by the way, Con. Always appreciate you. And I love doing this for TNA, Ring of Honor, NXT, WWE, and AEW each and every year. So, again, and I believe Rebellion is the standard, what is it?
It's $40 if you buy on Thriller. It's free if you have the TNA Plus app. If you have the subscription service.
That about to say the keyword is that subscription service. And that subscription service, the one that costs you an annual price of $100-something to get all 4 of their pay-per-views. And this is the second of their big 4. Of course, after this, we're heading to Slammiversary. But again, just so you know, save your money, boy. But yeah, and
good to see you in the chat, Cleaver. Looking forward to having you on open mic night on Saturday, bro.
Most definitely. Get you some prime cuts, folks, from a man that knows. I acknowledge the tribal chef. Anyway. Anyway. Fucking. Yeah.
But just so you know, I bought these Cheez-Its just for the predictions and for the watch along on Saturday.
Ew. Like I said, I like Ritz. Ritz crackers. They're my jam.
I got cheese Ritz bits off to the side here, so you know what I'm doing during this while I'm drinking a green can of Mountain Dew and wearing purple. Always accessorizing. Anyway, I will say this. You also got to look at the story here that's going to continue to expand. To your point, JJ, it kind of is a do or die for Rich Swann. If he doesn't win here, AJ might literally shoot him out the freaking door without a parachute from first class and make him plummet down to earth face first. So I will say, can we give Joe Hendry some props tonight for that Top Dollar store line?
Yeah.
I'm glad I wasn't drinking anything at that moment because I probably would have spit it out because I shop at the dollar stores, damn it.
Hey,
and then throw in the Top Dollar. Barely, because even Dollar Tree is now getting revamped and higher price points turning into like 99-cent store. But I digress. That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, $1.25 to $1.50. In 2025, it'll be $1.75. And as the conservative simple man and the most budget-oriented member of his family, DJ Mutt King, we'll see. And secondly, my mom shops all the time at Dollar Tree. It's her favorite store right next to a Walmart, and she prefers Dollar Tree over Walmart Supercenter any day of the week.
But Dollar Tree isn't even $1.25, $1.50 anymore. They're going up to where they got stuff that's like $5 and $7 now. They're starting to carry higher quality items, which bring in a higher dollar value.
That's still ridiculous. And I do agree about that. There's some things I do agree about this young man on. There's a reason why I endorsed him as the future when I met him at Fastlane 2019. Anyway, back on topic. Yes. Rich Swann needs this win, or he's as good as dead. We already know how motivational Joe Hendry is. Look at what he's turned around in that defeat from freaking AJ Francis. One of the greatest freaking impromptus we've gotten to the point that JJ almost believes. Now, I just wish that I would see AJ Francis, DJ Jazzy throw Rich Swann. That's the only thing left I need to see. And then someone do the freaking gif in the cut. That's what I need to see. But again, we'll see what happens when AJ Francis is in Rich Swann's corner at Rebellion. And if Joe Hendry does find somebody to go alongside him in this continued motivation, I'd be curious to see, you know, if we get a tag feud out of this. But for right now, this just feels like the first act of Rich Swann and Joe Hendry, with AJ just puppeteering it. So we'll see what happens. All right, well, that was fun. The unlimited power. Good grief. The unlimited power. Something dark side. And by the way, I've only been on one commercial flight with Delta. I flew comfort class, and that was enough for me. So first class, that'll be the day. All right.
I always fly economy.
We'll see what my next flight's going to be like in 2025. And to where? And for what? I'm just saying. All right. Let's go ahead and move on now. And let's see, as we try and get things back order here in this system, do we see the downfall of the system, starting with this? As the TNA World Tag Team Championships on the line, as the systems, Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers, most professional wrestler, defends against Speedball Mountain, the team of Speedball Mike Bailey, and of course, one half of the former Big Strong Boys and Mustache Mountain, Trent Seven. Of course, Speedball Mountain earned this opportunity and been waiting to see who they're going to face after we saw the Moisture Machine Guns in their last match in TNA. A little bit of a misfire a couple of times as the system of Alicia Edwards was able to overcome it. I'm just going to say this. Alicia Edwards is the ultimate cheat code to the system. Unless you find a way to hack her out of the picture, it's kind of a safe bet that the system will retain. Again, JJ, what's your thoughts right now on the system? Again, the system right now, they are literally ruling TNA. They're not for the system. They're doing their own. They are defining their own way. And they've defined their own way since Hard to Kill when Moose won the TNA World Championship. But does the system finally start to fall here with losing the tag straps? Do you see new tag champs?
I still do not trust the system.
Me neither.
But I see them retaining here. I like Speedball Mountain. Huge Mike Bailey fan. I've become a Trent Seven fan. And especially learning about him and Tyler Bate having been a team and everything. But I don't see how you stop the role that the system are on right now. You know, I feel like Eddie and Brian are doing some really good shit.
Fair.
And I feel like there's other teams on the roster that deserve the tag titles over Speedball Mountain.
All right. We don't trust the system, but he goes along with the system. Attila, what about you?
You both know I trust the system here. As far as you should screenshot that. You should clip that.
Don't give him ideas.
I was saying, regards to Alicia Edwards, you could pull an Attic Shelley and grab her by the hair, like he was during the match.
Yeah, and he paid for it.
Yeah, he
She'd
did.
probably enjoy that.
And then what?
Moving on.
Okay. I think it's too soon for the system to lose those tag titles. It seems like they just won those titles. And I don't think they should be losing. Not until Lish gets gold. Have all the entire system hold all the gold.
With
Why? It looks like they're doing a storyline with her and Masha. Seems like it. So I gotta pick the system here.
Yeah, and me and JD were talking about Masha and Alicia maybe running in after the Knockouts Tag Team Champions after we find out who retains during the countdown, if not state their claim towards maybe a chance at the titles. And we all know Masha still has bad blood with Danny Luna. They could probably get a one-on-one match out of that, and they could build the system tag team storyline out of that. But yeah, right now, since Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards been a tag team since Final Resolution last year, they really have pulled it together, and the system is working on pretty much all cylinders at this point. So I think, especially when you see the Grab for Under Siege, which also might be some foreshadowing, just saying, it does feel like right now that I do think the system is going to retain, and they might take this out further. Remember, the previous tag team champions were the ABC, and they lost them. After the ABC overcame the grizzled young veterans in a 2 out of 3 falls feud. And as long as the grizzled young veterans support the campaign of Mustafa Ali, they might put tag team championship journey to the side for now to preserve what they believe is right for TNA. In Ali we trust. So I do think right now the system will retain, but I'm looking forward to this match. And at the end of the day, X Factor, Alicia Edwards, I think, is going to be the one that is the decider, as she's been the decider each time you see the system in tag team freaking action. Gotta go with the system here, much as I don't want to. Damn it. All right. That being said, we'll take a bit of a moment here and segue into two things. First off, I did get that graphic, and I do think it's cool to talk about this. One, it's a title. Two, it might be one of those changes we don't expect. While it is on the countdown, the Digital Media Championship will be on the line as Crazy Steve defends once again against Laredo Kid. Originally, Laredo Kid, he was supposed to have this opportunity a few weeks back, but due to sickness, of course, life-threatening sickness he once had overcome, by the way, and still deals with, he was finally able to get the chance, but we all saw how that played out when Crazy Steve was able to exploit his mask. And now at this point, we're just thinking one more chance. Laredo Kid might get it done here. So a quick pick regarding the Digital Media Championship, the title that's literally defended every time Crazy Steve's in action on the internet, and that's where TNA literally sits. Do you think Laredo Kid finally gets it done here?
I thought it was due to visa issues that this match didn't happen.
It was at first. And again, visa issues plaguing the industry like Kyle Fletcher. Go figure.
Oh, I don't know. This is a regular match, right? This is a regular title match. It's not a special.
Yep. Standard title match. But with Crazy Steve, can you really say anything's regular?
That's true.
He's going to have a fork in his pocket. You realize the last time he was here in the Palms, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just saying. Continue.
I don't know. I mean, I want the Laredo Kid to win, but I don't know. I mean, Crazy Steve pushed his buttons by trying to take off that mask. What's to say that Crazy Steve doesn't try that again? You know, I think I gotta go with Crazy Steve. I think he's gonna pull some shenanigans here and he's gonna retain.
Yeah, imagine Laredo Kid having a mask underneath the mask. Just saying. I mean, how many times we've seen that with Luchadors JJ in a way that it's almost it's almost a story as old as Lucha Libre itself. What's the most sacred thing to the culture, to the wrestler, to the competitor? It's the mask. It's their culture. It tells their story. It represents family and honors legacy. La Sombra told us that specifically during his feud with Buddy Matthews on Collision when that was determined in a damn ladder match. So that being said, JJ, you've seen Crazy Steve. You've seen his run, of course, with the Digital Media Championship. You kind of learn a bit about this character and the fact that, again, this guy is literally blind. But you've also learned a bit about Laredo Kid now from the Tom Hannigan sit-downs. You saw what happened in the last encounter. So what's your take on this? And it is on the countdown, to be fair.
Let me just say, when I learned that Crazy Steve was legally blind, then I had a whole new level of respect for him.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like they're running this match back on the countdown for a reason. So I'm going to go with the Laredo Kid here.
Yeah. You also got to consider, Dattila, while you're there live, this is the first time in a long time we have 3 matches on the countdown. 2 of them are title implications. In this, me and JJ believes the champs are going to retain with a continued story that's going to escalate with the system having their sights on the prize. But I think this right here, to JJ's point, is on here for a reason. Crazy Steve took it off Tommy Dreamer at the Palms, at Hard to Kill. I think Laredo Kid might take it off Crazy Steve here at the Palms, at Rebellion. I'm with JJ here. I think there's going to be a new champion.
Okay. That explains why the way the pre-show is at 4 is a whole hour.
Yeah, apparently. So looks like we aren't going to have more free. JJ, Jeff, you might want to start your pre-show slightly earlier for a talk if you want. Just saying. So
I will make sure to relay that to Jeff. He is at the last regular season Kings game for the year, so can't do it now.
That's fair. All right.
But before we move on, we did get a super chat. If you want to go to that real quick.
Yeah, it read my mind.
That's what it said.
There's a reason why me and him, again, work so well together. All right, what did this young man have to say here with this $5 super chat? Hey, PC, show me.
It's not relevant to what we're talking about.
Well, no,
Well,
but that's the whole thing
no.
of a super chat. We always say that if you'd like to donate the conversation, then you have to super chat. Donate to dictate.
Yeah, I just thought it was a funny
And
question.
he even says right off the top, 100% off topic, and I'm going to yell at him later. But I'm not, because he paid for the question. So since I can't run the studio for Datilla, who would win in war games, the Bloodline or the Lyoko Warriors? I hope I said that right.
The Yoko Warriors?
Yeah, I don't even know who those are, so that's probably why
I
it's
think
for
he's
you,
probably
so.
talking about Code Lyoko.
He's exactly talking about that as my fucking technology crashed on me, and I blame Xana. If you know, you know, folks. Botch. Fuck. Anyway, go ahead and answer the young man's question.
Oh my god. I'm just gonna pick the Bloodline here. It's been a long time since we've seen Code Lyoko, so I forgot what they can do.
So, all right, this is the nerd coming out of me. So, for those that don't know, Code Lyoko was an anime that ran for 93 episodes. It was about stopping a internal computer virus manifesting into a super artificial intelligence, taking over the world through a robot army. It was led, of course, by Alita, who, of course, had the power to stop these towers and render his power useless to the point he could take over people. I wish Natalie was here. She probably has no idea about this show either. This just sounds hilarious for me talking about this, one of my all-time favorite shows. Ulrich was one of those guys that always had the power of super sprint, also had a bit of a ninja background. Of course, damn, I'm forgetting all their freaking names. That's how long it's been. One I know had like those Japanese fans that they brought like steel blades. Other one had like, you know, tiger-like reflexes and a claw attack. And of course, there was always a guy at the computer with the materialization purposes and the codes to get into the fifth zone, Scipio. And then there was one other, and I can't think of her name, but her and Ulrich had a unique relationship. And I'm just going to leave it at that. All right, so there you go. That's your Code Lyoko 101. Go check that out on Crunchyroll, your original Cartoon Network. Odd Umi, that's what it was. Thank you. You're worth something. Yes, Odd Umi Ulrich Alita. You're forgetting the other man's name, but I'll hold you to that. Anyway, this is not Crunchyroll. This is not the anime as professional wrestling. Damn it, young boy. Anyway, there got it.
I know about Crunchyroll.
Well, of course, it's the freaking anime hub of the world. I've seen things like. Moving on. That got it. What the hell is happening here?
We're exposing a different side of Noah, a side that doesn't just talk about wrestling.
This side of me has not been out since the original Toonami died a horrible death. Anyway, just stop it. Stop it. Stop trying to bring out the past in me.
I never used to watch Toonami. I watched some stuff here and there.
I don't even know what the hell Toonami even is anymore. I mean, you know what? I'm just going to say this right now. I don't give two flying yahoos about TV in 2024. Thank you. Now, shush with all the daggum anime conversation, taking me back to the golden era that I can't relive because I don't live in the past. But I do live in the present, and I know coming up here shortly, we're going to see who truly is the Iron Man, the Standard, the face of TNA, and honestly, who is the bigger threat here? As it's last man standing. Let's keep moving forward, y'all. As it's Josh Alexander versus Hammerstone 3. Hammerstone, of course, still bearing the headpiece of the walking weapon, Josh Alexander, almost like a trophy, bracing it on his arm, but putting it on anybody he has put into a torture rack, including that limited to cameramans and, of course, the FBI's own Guido. And, of course, we saw Josh Alexander taking it in at ringside. Again, a guy that this time last year you would think would be much more emotionally stirred, but since then has really learned to hold in his emotions, maintain his composure, and says that doesn't define him. What does define him, though, is the fact that Hammerstone cheated, low blow, got the win at Sacrifice, and he's been holding it over Josh Alexander ever since, calling him a coward, though, even though Hammerstone is the one that's been delaying this inevitable rematch that Josh Alexander has asked for. And we've already seen Josh Alexander go for the likes of Tracy Williams just to try and get to Hammerstone. Didn't work. Well, we're not waiting anymore. and it's last man standing. So Godzilla vs. King Kong here. Nightmare Pendulum versus the C4 Spike. Who wins here in this rubber feud of the heavyweights of TNA? And does Alexander get his headset back as a bonus? Or do we just destroy it and move forward? Maybe he doesn't wrestle with it anymore. Who knows? JJ, what's your thoughts on this? Of course, Hammerstone coming off MLW, being signed now to TNA, and apparently he lost his first name. But beating, the Iron Man, the standard, former longest reigning TNA world champion, again, and being the last man standing, that kind of cements him, I think, in a way, towards TNA World Championship contention, especially if what we think happens in the main event. A great opponent. What's your take on this last man standing match? Josh has been there. Hammerstone's trying to get there.
I'm conflicted here.
I don't blame you.
Because my heart wants to pick Josh Alexander. Feel like Hammerstone has had the upper hand for the majority of this feud, and Josh needs his big comeuppance. At the same time, I go back to that promo that Tommy Dreamer cut last week at the 2300, where he talked about everything that Josh Alexander is for the company and how Hammerstone can be that too. And a victory here could cement that for him.
Passing of the torch. He's thinking.
I'm going to go Hammerstone.
Well, as we know, Hammerstone was recently signed. Josh Alexander's contract was extended. And again, he's been to that dance. Hammerstone right now, he is out to definitely prove a point and back up all that built up animosity and anger within him after that sit down he had with Tom Hannigan. So again, do you think Hammerstone kind of needs to win here, or is this more so one of those things where Josh Alexander gets the revenge, the retribution? And again, it is the rubber match.
I like Josh Alexander. I think that he's a fantastic wrestler, and there's a reason why he was the longest reigning Impact champion of the, in the modern era. But I think that Hammerstone needs to win. I don't think Josh needs this win. I think that, if Josh Alexander were to leave, Hammerstone would be the guy. He's a future TNA world champion. And what better way to make a statement than to beat the longest reigning Impact world champion? So I got to pick Hammerstone.
Case in point. And again, we're circling it completely back here. It's weird how Hard to Kill was the genesis of the return of TNA. I think Rebellion might be the evolution of this new TNA, especially with Scott D'Amore no longer influence here and involved. And I think you're seeing a lot of new names that you didn't think were like originally part of the Impact roster be kind of the forefront of it. And I think Hammerstone is the top priority of it at this point. I agree with y'all at this point. Again, Josh Alexander beats Hammerstone at Hard to Kill. We're back where it all began at the Palms, the same dang building. And these two are basically saying the rivalry. And again, it's last man standing. It's not necessarily about breaking the man down. It's just keeping him down for a 10 count. And we know how resourceful, heels especially, can be in a last man standing environment. I got to go with Hammerstone here as well. I don't know what the hell it's going to take to put Josh down for 10 seconds. And I'm very curious to find out. But yeah, I'm with you guys here. This is a unanimous one at this point. 2 in a row. Who knew? I got to go with Hammerstone. All right.
What if you said you don't know what it's going to take? What if Jade gets involved?
Oh, Lord.
And he's beaten down so hard, she just tells him to stay down. Fight another day.
Preserve yourself for your family versus professional wrestling. Where have I seen that before?
Because you figure as the ring announcer, she's going to be right there in the thick of it all.
Yep. For those that don't know, Jay Chung, the ring announcer, is the wife to Walking Weapon, Josh Alexander. Not business conflict at all. No, not personal business conflict at all. Not even the same thing as Samantha Urban and Ricochet. Not at all. But anyway, it's a fair point. It's a fair point. But either way, if Hammerstone doesn't win this, then what he's basically done since sacrifice means jack shit. All right. We got 2 matches left, so let's go ahead and talk about them. Let's talk about the most prestigious prize in all women's professional wrestling. I stand by that, not just in its physical form, but in its legacy and its representation in the caliber of competition and the longevity of it. Besides Rhea Ripley, get well soon. You did good with that other title, though. TNA Knockouts World Championship on the line as the Juggernaut, Jordan Grace, defends the gold against Steph DeLander. Now, originally, Matt Cardona, the Deathmatch King to the Deathmatch Queen, was going to be in her corner. But apparently, it may not be the case on paper, as he did recently go through surgery. That being said, Cardona factor or not, we are seeing if Steph DeLander has something, proverbially up her sleeves, to dethrone the Juggernaut. Why Jordan Grace said tonight, not only Karma's a bitch, but I have something to counteract you. And so far, Jordan Grace, she has been the unopposed, immovable object, if we're being perfectly honest here. She is the face of the Knockouts. Overcoming Tasha Steelz and Sarah Brooks had overcoming Tasha Steelz in the one-on-one fall encounter. Already participated earlier in this year's Royal Rumble. And, of course, we saw how far she went against Michelle Shaw, who has not been seen at all, by the way, since the match at No Surrender. That being said, considering what we also see going on in the Knockouts division with Zara Brookside and Person, I do wonder if that's something else that they might set up here just to raise his blood temperature. That being said, Attila, what's your thoughts on the TNA Knockouts World Championship? Do you think that Steph DeLander has an X factor to outsmart maybe the Juggernaut and take the title, or does Jordan Grace continue to remain unopposed here and the face of the Knockouts?
I'm going to say, before I get to my same answer, I'm going to say that this match is, if people have been sleeping on TNA and their women's division, this match is going to remind them why TNA has the best women's division in North America.
So NXT is getting up there, and I'll give Ring of Honor some credit with what they're doing, but continue.
I have to pick Jordan Grace. I don't think she's going to lose to Steph DeLander here.
Someone made a comment earlier on the, what was it? What I can't think of it. Oh yeah, the X. Someone made a comment earlier on the X that they need more singles faces and challengers for Jordan Grace. And at first they were thinking that's maybe why we had the implosion of MK Ultra. But Masha Slam has already faced Jordan Grace 2 times over and lost. In fact, it was Jordan Grace that stopped her undefeated streak. With this weird cryptic video of somebody coming at Rebellion, could it be another threat to Jordan Grace in the face of the Knockouts? Could it be somebody we don't know? Is it a returning identity? And for those that don't know what I'm talking about, go check out the TNA Rebellion press conference, because at the end, they gave a cryptic video teaser. And in a way, I look at the Knockouts division, and right now, they may be onto something, because you think about who they've built as a challenger. You think about who stand out as a singles competitor. There's been more focus, arguably, on the TNA Knockouts tag division than there has been on the actual singles world championship with the audible call of Steph DeLander, who I don't think has been signed yet to TNA. I haven't seen a graphic, but it just seems so out of nowhere that she was the one put into the spot out of the 841 versus all the other TNA original Knockouts that have been here for the longer haul. So it's almost one of those things where I think this might be one of those showcase matches, and I don't know if Steph DeLander is going to stay around. But I agree with you. I do think Jordan Grace is going to retain. You have a further thought?
Yeah. And to comment real quick on that video that you mentioned, I maybe it's a returning person. I don't know if you watch Explosion, but
I do.
If you did you peep what Rosemary said? Her cane was a bunny, and she said that the bunny will always be with them. And then she was making reference to the only human that they could tolerate.
Yes,
so maybe
I'm well aware. Demon X Bunny for life. Also, that Undead Rum clip still broke me, and I'm going to leave that alone in the past for real. That being said, JJ, shut it, JJ. ATW crew, if you're watching this, you shut it all too. I swear I will go off on you. Nobody say anything. Anyway, but yeah, and I recognize that came right away. But it's just one of those things where right now I do think there needs to be more of a predominant singles reinvention on the knockout side, because Jordan Grace is kind of beating them all, unless you want to try and find something on rarefied air. Again, not trying to raise his blood pressure. But based on what happens this coming Thursday on TNA Impact, JJ, just be prepared. That being said, JJ, what's your thoughts on the state of the TNA Knockouts division, the World Championship, and Steph Delano's presence? Do you think she's got a chance?
Well, I definitely think she has a chance, but my question, the thing that keeps going through my head is who could her second be? You know, with Cardona having just had surgery, the odds are that he won't be ringside with her. Correct. That's not to say that he won't be. We've seen weirder things. This is professional wrestling. Never say never.
Damn it.
You've got to figure Jordan Grace's ace is going to be Jonathan Gresham. They've been teasing him the last few weeks anyways. That is her husband. So it would only make sense for her backup, her ace up her sleeve, to be Gresham. But if it's not Cardona, then who is it?
There's one name I could think of, figured up a name from the past, who likes to make it all about her, and she's also Australian. Tennille Dashwood. Could she return?
It's always a possibility here, but I have Jordan Grace retaining. I do think they need to redefine, to your guys' point, the contenders in the division a little bit. I feel like Jordan is starting to run out of opponents because she's actually been a fighting champion.
Right.
You know, something we don't know a whole lot about if you watch the other mainstream shows.
Mm-hmm.
But and they still need to figure out something as far as their Knockouts tag division goes as well, because they've only got a couple of legitimate teams.
Yeah.
For the best women's division in North America, they're struggling to define their two divisions there.
I've noticed that a little bit after Sacrifice. And again, when MK Ultra imploded, that just made me really wonder, okay, where are we going now? But again, talking about the system, sounds like they might subtend it to Lisa Edwards and Masha becoming a duo. I wonder if that means Killer Kelly might reset her sights on maybe somebody new to play with in violent combat as an opponent.
You know something? They lost. They lost a lot of tag teams, but I've talked about this before. They had to make an effort to repackage that division. You know, it's not their fault they lost so many tag teams in the span of a few years.
Yeah.
You know, but they haven't been able to replace all the tag teams that they lost. They lost the Influence. They lost the Inspiration. They lost Vex. They didn't keep the Hex.
Correct.
You know, so they split. Oh, they lost Fire and Flava.
Yep. Natasha Steele still bringing what she brings, though.
Yeah, so it's like they lost all these tag teams that unfortunately they haven't been able to replace with.
That just comes down also to if the Owl, actually signs more talent and lets TNA grow. There's a reason why Scott D'Amore, again, is no longer in the bubble. And I think that also hurts the stagnant nature right now, what TNA might be feeling and trying to survive through rebellion. Like I said, TNA Hard to Kill was the genesis, something beautiful, bright, flourishing. And then the Owl took over, and here we are, rebellion at the same building, and now we're wondering what the heck's the future. Yes, JJ.
To your point, Steph Delander is listed on the TNA website roster page, so there is that.
Okay.
I just looked at their roster page. I only counted 15 women in the entire roster. I did not count Gia Miller and Gail Kim.
No.
So that makes 17 if you counted them. you're hard pressed to have a knockouts and tag division with 15 women.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of the issue right there. They need to bring in some more female talent.
Exactly.
If your favorite bunny hops to sign a contract here this weekend, Noah, that's one more. But that still doesn't fill out a tag team.
No.
It just gives an extra person for Jordan to run through.
Now, Tyra Valkyrie still lost in the Undead Realm, and she's a former TNA Knockouts World Champion, and she was literally the last opposition to Jordan Grace first winning the championship. So, again, to your point, of course, they lost the Virtuosa. Diana Perazzo, long may she fucking reign. Tony tapped out. But it's just right now one of those things where TNA is trying to rebuild. And I thought they had a great start at Hard to Kill, but here we are at the Palms literally 3 months later, and there's, I think, some sense for concern.
It's another reason why I feel like the tag titles are going to stay where they are for a bit while they try to reconstruct the division.
Exactly.
Just hopefully we won't get tired of Spitfire in the process.
I mean, they're the newest thing on the scene, so we'll see soon enough. Well, that being said, again, we're wondering if we're getting tired of the status quo. Some of us trust the system, some of us don't trust the system. We truly don't know what's ahead post-Rebellion, but let's go ahead and get right to it when it comes to what matters the most. As let's go ahead and talk about our main event, because for the TNA World Championship, it is not Dolph Ziggler. It is the wanted man, Nick Nemeth, going one-on-one against the system, the face of TNA, the TNA World Champion himself, Moose. After defeating Alex Shelley in this same building at Hard to Kill in the main event with help from the system, including D'Angelo Williams, or whatever the heck his name is. Some nonsensical sports player like that. I don't think he's going to show up again. But the thing I wonder here is two things. At the last time we were here at the end of the show, what happened? Moose got taken into the danger zone, and Nick Nemeth ripped off and let his presence be known. He is here in TNA. Is he here for TNA for the long haul? His promos make you think otherwise? Possibly. But he also is currently the IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And the wanted man's been all over the world right now after surviving Stone Pitbull Wrestling this past Friday at Windy City Riot. And Moose said something that still echoes in my brain more than ever before. There's no Scott D'Amore. There is no Moose. Now, while he is part of literally the face of TNA with the system, literally part of the damn graphic alongside Under Siege, things could change just like that. And if Nick Nemeth truly is dedicated the way he is saying, and Macklin's looking to unleash mayhem here at Rebellion, and we can run that great match back at Sacrifice without Mother Nature trying to fuck it up. I look at, again, what we talked about earlier, redefining TNA. Fuck the owl, though. Redefining TNA with all these new faces, spear leaders, changing the landscape, restructuring it, to your point regarding the knockouts. Maybe they do have the World Championship here, but does Nick Nemeth, the Watson man, beat the system for the first time ever in his career? Not the former Dolph Ziggler, renewed spirit in professional wrestling, and become the TNA World Champion in Vegas of all places. Does he hit the jackpot and truly proves that, damn, I'm still fucking good enough? Because that's Nick Nemeth's testament right now, to show he can still hang and go with the absolute best for years and years to come. Is Nick Nemeth our next TNA World Champion? JJ, go ahead, your prediction.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. I feel like Nick is going to take it here. I feel like it's poetic. We're coming back to Vegas, back to the Palms where he debuted. I feel like now that there's this new era, now that Scott D'Amore is gone, I feel like they're going to want their champion. And what better place to pull it off than here? While I do still see the system running roughshod, especially if we get Masha and Alicia to get the Knockouts tag titles down the road, Moose can always get his belt back. You know, it's very much, I look at it almost Judgment Day-esque in the fact that the tag titles lost, got back. North American title lost, got back. But Mommy held strong throughout the entire time.
Yep.
I feel it being a little bit in reverse here. I feel like Moose may get toppled here, being a little bit too cocky, a little bit too arrogant, a little bit too conceited with his Cobra Bubbles looking self. But the tag titles are going to be the consistent here. You know, Eddie and Brian are going to hold on to theirs and almost kind of be like, dude, what happened? It's like, we did our job.
Does the system still work, basically? And does it work on all cylinders? This to me pretty much defines the future of Moose in TNA. So what's your take on this? Again, Moose, he's been TNA for the longest time we can remember, ever since coming in during the early Al eras in the six-sided ring, becoming the Impact Grand Champion, feuding with the Miracle Mike Bennett. And the thing is, since becoming now two-time, now officially TNA World Heavyweight Champion, literally with the letters encrusted, he already beat Alex Shelley. He survived the No Surrender encounter. He has been that spearhead right now for the TNA company, even if he's doing it through his own system. But when I look at Nick Nemeth, he's the guy right now that never got the chance to be the one to carry a banner, be the face, be the one that you spearhead a company with. To JJ's point, being a new era, is Nick Nemeth the right guy to do it in this incarnation of TNA? And has Moose ran his course?
If Moose loses, this would be the second time in Rebellion that he loses.
Oh, damn! Dude,
second time.
That's fair, actually.
You know, the first time he lost to Josh Alexander.
2022.
Yeah. So I feel like it's, you know, he just won a title at Hard to Kill. I feel like it's too soon for him to drop it. I get the whole, you know, it's Vegas, it's where Nick debuted. Personally, I wouldn't be mad if Nick does win. I just feel like it's too soon for Moose to drop it. Like I said, this would be the second time he loses a title at Rebellion if he does lose. And not to mention, Steve Macklin did say he was going to make his presence felt at Rebellion. So what's to say that maybe Steve Macklin cost Nick Nemeth his title opportunity?
Well, because Aaron Costa Young at freaking Sacrifice, to your point.
Yeah, exactly. You know, but then again, you know, maybe Macklin appears at the end, but I just feel like it would do more for Mac. Well, not that it would do more, but like I feel like maybe Macklin would be more inclined to cost a title So I gotta pick Moose here, but I wouldn't be upset if Nick Nemeth does win.
We look back. Yes, JJ.
See, what keeps going through my head is the fact that Moose keeps telling him that you could never beat the system.
Right.
There's got to come that point where he does beat the system. I feel like that tagline that Moose keeps throwing out is the giveaway here, you know?
The caveat.
By Nick winning here, he's finally beaten the system.
Yeah. He took that bet on himself, and it was all worth it as well. And to the point, also to add to your point, JJ, in the go home face-off promo with Moose and Nick Nemeth on TNA Impact tonight, Nick Nemeth literally said, "I see it in your eyes, Moose. You think what you're facing is just the old Dolph Ziggler, but it's not. Nick Nemeth, again, right now, is somebody out here to prove a point. There's something about Nick Nemeth, the man Nick Nemeth, not the former WWE superstar Dolph Ziggler. I feel something different in him when I see him wrestle. Not just when I hear him post-match in New Japan Pro Wrestling, or when I watch that immersed special where he and Steve Macklin. Honestly, both men have been out to prove a point about they can hang with the best. They could show the world what they can do. They are as good as they say they are, if not better. And I look at Nick Nemeth and I see that 110% right now with what he has literally demonstrated so far in and out of TNA, across the independents, and New Japan Pro Wrestling. It's just one of those things right now where I feel if Nick Nemeth took this shot on himself, he literally said it post Hard to Kill. Remember what he said? I'm starting all over again, but this time I'm doing it all as Nick Nemeth. I don't know if he's truly started over yet until he actually has held the TNA championship, where he first came out as Nick Nemeth, make his presence known in who he truly is now. To define that here with the TNA World Championship would be, like you said, a very poetic moment, because at the end of the day, that caveat, can you beat the system? What is the system? Is the system simply Moose and his cronies, or is it the wrestling business? What has Nick Nemeth in a former life always been known as? Practically a utility player. He was a good hand, better than John Schuyler and Jason Hodge. Just saying.
Hey, John Schuyler and Jason Hodge are good hands, okay? They're funny.
Hey, there's a reason they're not part of the cabinet anymore. I'm just saying. They got impeached. But
I get that.
Ooh,
I said
like
what I
them.
said. Well,
I liked them.
they're all right. But again, tag team, where are they? But I just feel like Nick Nemeth right now, there's something in him that he needs to do that involves him winning this match. And I think that he is going to show the world something. I just don't know what comes after it. And that's what throws me off. I don't know what's coming after Rebellion. For the first time in a long time, I truly don't know what's ahead after a TNA special. And that's saying something. And I don't know if that's a good feeling or a bad feeling. Because again, we're already talking about the knockouts is not what it used to be in that same brightest light. Right now, the restructuring that's a bit more muddled. And I don't know where the World Championship picture goes here. I mean, again, Josh Alexander has been there. If Alexander beats Hammerstone, you would think that Alexander and Nemeth would be a marquee match maybe for Slammiversary. If Hammerstone beats Nemeth, do you throw Hammerstone to Nick Nemeth already and you see if he could actually capitalize that quick on that shot? And are those the only two names that we're thinking about at this point when it comes to the TNA World Championship? We talk about the Knockouts World Championship. Is there even less for the TNA World Championship? And I know we also talk about Full Metal Mayhem for Kazarian and Eric Young. Kazarian's a whole nother one, but also Kazarian had a chance before. He failed. It's right now one of those things where I just don't know really any clear direction. And that's what's confusing me even more. Now, you said Nick Nemeth gets it done. You said that Moose needs to get it done. And to wrap this thing out, just because of the unpredictability and the uncertainty of TNA wrestling, I know Moose is the standard, but sometimes you need to break convention and take a chance and see what happens. Sink or swim. I'm going to say that I'm going to call, whether with you somehow blasting in live there, or I see you on screen, your reaction, I'm going to say Nick Nemeth gets it done and becomes the new TNA World Champion. I'm just not sure what's ahead after that, and if that is the best direction for TNA, and what does that mean for Moose's future? But
I'm really surprised. Yeah. I'm really surprised they put Nick Nemeth in this title shot so early. He only had one feud with Steve Macklin. I thought he was going to beat former world champions to slowly get his way to Moose. So I was really surprised by how quickly they gave him the title opportunity after only beating Steve Macklin and the Rascals.
Right, and even Nick Nemeth said that. It's like, but Moose, he couldn't keep away. And Moose, again, he assaulted him. He assaulted Speedball Mountain, said, welcome to TNA, and here we are. It was literally that assault, a fault receipt from when Nick Nemeth took Moose to the danger zone at the end of Hard to Kill. And that's how he got here. But in context, there's a lot more to it. It almost is really the future of TNA at this point on the line when it comes to this championship. So that's why I think right now that Nick Nemeth is going to get it done. But the fact that the Owl, I'm pretty sure, not Santino Marella, put him in this situation in the first place. I'm going with Nick Nemeth. Yeah, JJ, I saw your hand up before we close out.
I was just gonna say is like the other thing we've got to keep in our minds here is the Frankie Kazarian thing. You know, he's on this mission, and I still in my gut see him becoming champion, possibly at Slammiversary. You can't have him defeat a heel Moose though. You
Right.
got to have him defeat a babyface champion.
And to that point, the people we named earlier, Macklin, Hammerstone, Kazarian, they're all heels. You gotta have a babyface counterpoint to build a story in more of a logical reasoning. I know I'm again double standard here, logic in wrestling, but in the basics of wrestling, for a story to make sense and carry out stronger in context, you got to have the face versus heel, the red versus blue, the enemy, the hero dynamic, especially when it comes to a championship. It's the best execution. And right now, the strongest execution here at TNA is Nick Nemeth overcoming the system, and that is Moose. So, to your point, just thinking about the future, even though unknown, when it comes to who's on the other side, I still see a villain pursuing the prize versus holding it. So I got to go with Nick Nemeth. Either way, it's going to be a very interesting show, which I think, again, is going to redefine what TNA is going to be under this new era, new regime, new landscape, and hopefully maybe more people are coming in. And maybe not returns, but new faces. Again, what was that cryptic thing? Some said it was Sami Callihan. He's in LLW. Some said it was Matt Hardy. He's in AEW. And as far as I know, his contract isn't up. Some
yes,
said
it is.
What?
His contract has expired.
Oh, well, now that also puts things into a whole different context. It doesn't come back broken or iconic, because now that
there was a lot of speculation that he and Jeff were going to get inserted into the ladder match at WrestleMania.
Right.
That didn't happen.
No.
Jeff is still under contract. Matt is not. Could Matt be what the Lights Out is about?
Good. You want to add to that?
Well, what was the last thing before the Lights Out one? What was the last thing before the Lights Out?
It was flashing so much stuff. I can't remember. It was
no, I mean like who went in last? Like who was the last? What was like the last wrestler before the Lights Out? Like what did the conference end with before the video package played?
I think it was the TNA World Championship. I was looking at Wrestling Covenants, who shared a clip of it. He only shared the video. I have to go back to YouTube and watch the rest of it because, again, I was working. I worked pretty much almost every day.
Because I remember when the Inspiration debuted, the tag titles main evented, and they main evented because the Inspiration was coming. You know, they played their video package and everything. So maybe if Moose and Nemeth ended, maybe that has something to do with whoever's coming in, but I don't know.
It's also one of those things where we've seen in TNA's past, what do they do? Weird video package at the end that teases something to come. Not necessarily clairvoyant, but we've seen people come in from New Japan Pro Wrestling, for example, and another face coming back. So it might be one of those things, to JJ's point, are we teasing something big to happen at Slammiversary, which again is celebrating the legacy of TNA wrestling. Of course, before we get there, we got Against All Odds as part of the hashtag We're Gonna Die professional wrestling schedule of 2024, all the way through 2025. And some of these shows don't even have a date yet. Lord help my voice and my sanity and my wallet. Just saying. So it's just one of those things right now where TNA is in a state of, I don't want to say chaos, but restructuring. And I just don't know which way the structure goes. But I don't think you have the system lead it going forward. That's my thing. So I do think Nick Nemeth gets it done, regardless. Well, I think that being said, we definitely gave a lot of food for thought on not only Rebellion, but also the future outlook of TNA across the Knockouts, the World Championship, the tag team out picture, and the standard bearers that have been, still could be, may no longer be, and who could be. And again, how does Macklin's Mayhem come into play for all this as well? And does he still have his eyes set on the TNA World Heavyweight Championship? And do we see something actually achieved? Something Does somebody else return, or does a new face come on the scene, male or female? We'll have to wait and see. Again, Dattila, you have travel plans, you have packing, you have rest to do, you have a ton ahead for you. Please have fun. Please be safe. JJ, we're going to have fun on the call. Good luck to everybody involved in the predictions. Hope you enjoyed this video too. We'll be back here tomorrow. At least me and JJ are, Justin as well. Simply predicting Dynasty. So before we conclude, let's go ahead and close this thing out and everybody find out do with some shows and promoting. Again, have a great time there live and at the tapings. Any last thoughts and anything you want to plug and promote, my friend? Always a pleasure.
No, I can't wait. I'm excited for the show. It's going to be a lot of fun. And make sure you check out my YouTube channel, Rangers of Wrestling, because I will be posting clips from Hard to Kill and possibly the tapings.
There you go. And you already got Miya Yamashita coming out on the tapings. Lucky, dang it, lucky. There's another person right there that could challenge for the TNA Championship. But again, to JJ's point, outsider. So again, not our first time though. If y'all did not watch her match against Killer Kelly, go to TNA Wrestling's YouTube channel and find that match. That was a 15-minute banger. Again, just have fun and be safe. And tell Joe Hendry we believe. Anyway.
I will, don't worry.
I figured. Well, JJ, always a pleasure. We don't need to necessarily do the same thing over and over. We don't necessarily do the same thing over and over. So I'll just go ahead and say this. If you haven't checked out For the Love of Wrestling, please check out The Renegade. Go into the mind of The Renegade. Become a member today at Castaneda Studios. And follow The Renegade on his social medias at Castaneda Studios. Renegade JJ Williams on the Insta. Castaneda Studios on YouTube. And, of course, Real JJ Williams on the Twitter. That's going to give it to you. So, again... Go ahead and check out the Renegade. JJ Williams will be back here simply predicting tomorrow. And again, become a member today. It's $5 without tax. That's cheaper than a $5 foot long. That's more worthwhile than what you can buy at a Dollar Tree anymore in some areas. Just saying. So again, until tomorrow, where we'll be back, at least me and JJ will, for City Predicting Dynasty, I think we'll conclude it right here. So good job, everybody. Again, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Please subscribe, comment, tell a friend. Hit the bells, videos live on demand on these YouTube channels. Hit the subscribe button. Please support my friends. Keep growing our communities. I assure you our creative passion, our content is not laying up anytime soon. But our voice and our wallets and our sanity very well might be with what's going on in and out of WWE, freaking AEW, and freaking TNA. And again, so much more yet to be known as we continue 2024, the most packed year in professional wrestling history, if we're being honest.
The We So Gonna Die tour continues on.
Damn right. And it's not letting up anytime soon. So I think I'm just going to leave this up here and bid you all find adieu in my usual way, where I only wish to remind you, there are no winners, no losers, no betters. Just fans of opinions with passion we all share. At the end of the day, folks, support one another, respect each other, protect your mentality too, and just enjoy life and enjoy professional wrestling. It is truly as simple as that. Till then, we'll see you Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time live, because I don't have Fox, for Simply Predicting AEW Dynasty. Damn it, Tony Khan, you're a madman. So get some sleep. Enjoy wherever you are in the world. Enjoy wrestling. Enjoy those you are with. Enjoy Ritz Bits. They're better than Cheez-Its. And make a positive impact in life. And until we talk about AEW Dynasty, have a good night, folks. What, you all don't have a last spot? No Joe Hendry lyrics?
Bye.
All right, there we go.
Toodles.
Simple as that. Hey, wait. You want to talk about Dynasty? I can tell you about Dynasty. Shut it.